How you guys doing? This is Robert Wilkins. One of the things that I'm here is try to help you guys to become better as an artist through some of the ideas, the struggles, and the conflicts that I've had in my life. Let me tell you a story. When I was born, my mother was going through the labor pains. They pulled me out, and as they pulled the umbilical cord out, they pulled out the placenta, and there's an easel. And they go, "Oh my God, he's gonna be an artist." My mom starts to cry. She goes, "Oh, thank God he's not a plumber. That would have been a difficult birth." Now, I tell you that story for the simple reason that a lot of people go, "God has given you an incredible gift. You were born an artist." And I kind of am shocked by that thinking, because a gift is something that doesn't require that much effort. You start using it, and it comes freely. It has cost me a lot to become an artist. And when I say a lot, I mean it has cost me a lot. So what I'm going to give you is this ability for you to become the happiest, the greatest person, the greatest artist you can be, okay? So it's not a gift. It's a desire, maybe. Maybe I give you that God gives us a desire. The benefits of being an artist. So there's 3 points here. The first point is how to become an artist, why you need to be an artist if that's your calling, and the things that you should do to get there, okay? So one of the things is the benefits of being an artist. Number one, it gives you therapy. Okay, I understand that we all need therapy. Some of us are screwed up more than others, but it gives us therapy, it gives us a voice as well. It gives us value by doing something, okay? It gives us the ability to basically take our soul and put it on our canvas. And that sounds really trite, but you'll understand later that all the pains and all the sufferings that you've actually gone through, all the good and all the bad, you can literally lay on the canvas as a historical event of your life. Okay, so it gives you history. Okay, the thing is, now that's the purpose. Now, the first point here is that you have to master your thinking. Now, let me give some history. If you think, now think about this, if you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're right. That was literally said 1,500 years before Christ. If you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're right. Jesus Christ, it's not a religious thing, but just hear the words of Jesus. Jesus Christ says, "Take every thought captive, for life and death is in your thinking." Same thing. If you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're right. 21st century medicine, this is science now, sits there and says, in a study, a placebo, so most of you guys might not understand what a placebo is, but a placebo is a study of medicine. So they give a sugar pill to 1,000 people, sugar pill and flour, and it looks exactly like the real pill, and they give the real pill over here. 1,000, there's 2,000 people. The first 1,000, it's sugar, 30% get healed by their thinking. Their thinking was sufficient enough to heal them. Over here you have 50%. 30% obviously was healed, 20%, medicine only works 20%. Science today shows that our thinking is sufficient enough to heal us. But where I'm taking it is, it's also sufficient enough to get us where we want to go, our thinking. If you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're right. There's a book that I did. At the age of 38, I listened to this book. I used to have, back when, 30 years ago, I used to put a cassette player, and I'd have a book. And the reason I started with cassette players for a couple of reasons. The cassette player, when I start painting, before the cassette player, before the audiobook, I would start painting, I'd hear a voice, "You suck, you're no good, you're gonna bugger that up, why do you do this shit? You're never gonna make it." I would hear this voice. A lot of people recommend, well, put music on. Well, I hear like, You really suck. Anyways, it would be, it would be a song that sucked. And so I decided to go with audiobooks because it would actually take my mind and stop my chatter, okay? And it would literally take me into a painting. And the book was really good. So I'd come back and it had the cassette player. For a lot of you people, you guys can Google what a cassette player is. But I would hit the cassette player and I'd go back and listen to stop the chatter in my head because I had a lot of demons in my head. So the book that I read is called The Outliers. It's called 10,000 Hours. Now, 10,000 hours is really important for you guys to understand. 10,000 hours is what will make you great. I normally tell people for the first time, how can I become an artist like you? And I said, it's a 10,000 hours theory. If you do 3 hours a day for 1 year, which is 365 is 1,000 hours approximately, okay? You're gonna suck for about a year. 2,000 hours, people are gonna go, shit, he's not bad. 3,000 hours, you'll be making more money than you've ever made, okay? I had to stop because there's also 5,000 and 10,000. But the thing is, they have to be sequentially. You can never stop working at this. If you're going to go down this road, it has to be down that road. You can't quit whatsoever. It's like running a marathon. You see, if you run a marathon right now, boom, you can run a marathon, all right? But in the moment that you stop, you start losing the muscle. So you can never lose that muscle that you've built. They have to be sequentially, hours behind hours behind hours. That's 3 hours a day. Everybody has 3 hours a day, okay? 3 hours a day. Remember, at 3,000 hours, you'll be making more money than you've ever made in your life. 3,000 hours. At 5,000, you'll be making more money than your parents did. At 10,000 hours, you're a freaking ass genius. I mean, you're talking about you got some great skills, great shit. You're awesome. The book is called The Outliers. I recommend that you read it. Audiobook, library, it's the greatest thing we have. That's part of mastering your destiny. The next thing that you have to understand is, if I was to give you $1 million here, and I was to give you more time, what's more valuable? Time or $1 million? Time or money? Let me put it to you this way, okay? Let's say you have a day to live. Yeah, 1 day to live. And I offer you time or $1 million. What would you take? Well, everybody goes, well, obviously I have a freaking ass day to live. You know, give me the $1 million? No. Give me the time. Let's say you have a year to live. Dude, you can party with $1 million. What time? 10 years? 20 years? What's the most valuable asset you have? It's time. Yet we freaking 21st century people waste it and achieve nothing through Facebook. And I'm not saying that these are bad. I use them. But we spend so much time not achieving nothing. We prostitute our time for a second of pleasure, and we don't realize we're coming to our end every day that we live, and not living each day. Now, I have this theory. Most of us, the most amazing thing, I see everybody on Facebook, there's a dinner table and everybody's like this. What happened? Nice dinner table with family, friends, and everybody's FaceTiming. Time. Understand that our time is the most precious thing. Don't waste it. Live it to its fullest. Be the best actor that you can be. Don't waste your lines. Don't stop being kind. Don't stop being more. Okay? So time becomes the most precious I realized I read the book The Outliers at the age of 38 years old. And the art that you see behind me has been produced after that. When I read that book, I wasted please understand, I wasted over 18 years of the beginning of me being an artist. If I would have read that book, it would have transformed my work more, and I would have done more in my life. That one book changed the way I paint, changed the quality of the artwork. And this that you see here, with the exception of that one over there, is mediocre compared to the stuff that I have now. And you might say it's good and you might say it's bad, but for me, it's mediocre. Don't waste your time. Now, this next talk, this part is the beginning of how to become an artist, okay? I'm gonna tell you some stories, and the first story that I'm gonna tell you is I ended up in a Mexican jail for a couple of weeks, and I decided I never wanted to get in trouble anymore. And I realized, because of being in a Mexican jail, I realized that my time was precious. I know it's buggerly awful to realize that your most precious thing is time when you're in jail. You know, Albert Einstein basically sat there and said, the time is relative. You know how you're in a party and you're doing stuff and you're having a great time and time goes by really fast? Well, let me tell you something, okay? Albert Einstein was actually correct. When I was in the Mexican jail, I literally made time slow down. Every second felt like an hour. Time. So anyways, I come back home and I go to school and I get my aviation license. And as I'm walking as an airplane mechanic, I realize that I hate this. I realize that everybody is gonna die because of the aluminum. I see all my coworkers are 35 years old and look like shit. And they hate their jobs and they're miserable. They're making good money, but they're not happy. So I go to my mom and I go, Mom, I think I want to be an artist. My mom turns around and she goes, why do you want that so bad? I said, Mom, it's the only thing that makes me happy. Please understand, I'm 23 years old. It's the only thing that makes me happy. My mom's response was, nobody deserves to be happy. I said, Mom, that's your choice. What do you want from me? She says. Mom, all I want is your blessing. She goes, I'm not going to help you. It's okay. You're going to be poor. It's okay. But Mom, it makes me happy. Now, when I started that journey not knowing how to be an artist. I started that journey not knowing, hell, how to paint. I started that journey being lost. But the greatest thing is that I also realized that I didn't need a degree. I needed the desire to get there. I went through a lot of struggles. All the struggles are good. But anyways, once I realized that that's the journey that I was going to do, I set out on that journey and I bust my ass and started working. One of the things that I realized, and this is really funny, if I was to ask you, I'm going to ask you, do you enjoy failing? Well, let me tell you something, okay? The thing about it is that failure is the best thing that can ever happen to you. Now, it's kind of like a contradiction, right? Because why the hell would you want to fail? But imagine that when you fail, you learn something of your failures. But we have a propensity of seeing things that a failure is bad. If I was to tell you that you should love to fail and enjoy that you're failing, the discoveries that then come up will change your way of thinking. It is very important to fail. That is the first beginning. That is the first 1,000 hours of your creativity. Embrace failing. There's discovery there. In some of the techniques that I have, I might send you some pictures, but some of the techniques that I have, all my failures have become other pieces of artwork that have become more stunning. It is the most difficult thing to know that out of a failure, something good can happen. Most of us don't understand our brushes. Most of us don't understand how canvases work. Most of us don't study anything, and so failures continuously happen. When you start realizing why a failure happened and don't repeat it, that means you've overcome something. You've got to become the master of your materials, the master of your techniques, the masters of everything. Failure becomes a good thing. Some of the greatest paintings that I'm creating right now have to do with my leftover paints. I don't like to throw them away. I'll apply them into canvas, and I'll show you some great pieces of artwork will come out of that. These are some of the habits that you have to embrace. The word sincere. Sincere is this, okay? It comes from the Roman times. If I was going to be an art buyer and I was to walk up to you and I see one of your sculptures, I would go, "Sir, is this piece sincere?" And what that actually means is there any break in it? Now, you have to understand that the break, what happens later on, let's say the arm, he glued the arm back on, eventually the arm's going to fall off, okay? So he wants to know if this piece is sincere. Have you ever seen those statues where their arms are cut off? Okay, now they're pieces of artwork. Well, it wasn't sincere until you cut their arm off. And they sanded the damn thing to make it look good instead of a break. Now that's sincere. So they removed the arm. The arm fell from accident. Maybe he got his hammer, he moved around and clinked the damn thing off. Okay, sincere. Everything that you do has to be sincere. That you're doing it with that intent of being truthful with yourself. Sincere. That's the most difficult thing. We have a propensity, in conversations that you'll have, we lie to ourselves. We're not sincere to one another. We're not sincere even to ourselves. It becomes the most incredible thing for you to look at yourself and say, I'm not being true to myself. Not listen to what I'm saying. Screw society. This is you. It has nothing to do with society. It has nothing to do with religion. Okay, we've already seen how they've buggered that shit up really bad. It has to do with you. Sincere. Are you sincere? So the thing about being sincere leads to some of the statements that great artists have said. Michelangelo said, "I'd rather choke on greatness than to be able to swallow mediocrity." I'm going to repeat it one more time just to make sure. I'd rather choke on greatness. That means he's willing to achieve great work than to literally be able to swallow, in my own words, something half-ass. And you know, when you're doing something, you know that you're doing half-ass work. It's not to the greatest standard that you've ever done. And you know that it's shit. Not shit, but it's, you know, it's not really there. I create a piece, and when I put all my love and my energy in that piece of artwork, it hurts. Now look at me. It hurts to literally sell it. It really does. And it's decent money, don't get me wrong, but it hurts. It really hurts. It hurts because I love that piece that much. I put 100% of myself into that, not 70%, not 50%. It hurts to sell it. When you could start doing that, doing a piece of artwork or doing some filming, that it's so freaking ass gorgeous, they ain't gonna change it for anybody. That is being sincere to yourself and being true to you.
that you did it to the highest level of you. Learn to do that. Look.
So you're born, you have a dash, and you die. What's the most important thing? When you're born, blank canvas. Or when you die, finished canvas. What's the most important thing? It's the dash. The act of doing it. The act of living a great life. The act of pouring every essence into your artwork. And let me tell you something. People can see that. When you love what you do, people can see that, and that becomes a process. Can you love to paint? Can you love to create? Look, the next thing is this. It becomes a voice. It becomes a voice where you can tell a great story. It becomes a voice where you can sit there and do a piece of artwork like this that tells a story of a journey, of history, or it tells a story of a point where we've actually been through the times of Donald Trump's reign. So you start creating these great pieces. You start making money. Your artwork starts to call people. When I don't care who you are, sometimes a kid can draw something and the sincerity of their work is so poignant that it has to be hung. Sometimes a person does something that other people don't understand but as time goes by, it becomes prolific through time. Vincent van Gogh is case in point. You become, besides it helping you in so many levels through physical, mental, and the people around you, you start becoming this thing that has a voice, this person that has a voice. Your voice basically starts to carry and starts to impact other people. I've realized that all the stuff that I've gone through, all the pain that I've gone through, all the agony that I've gone through, it's really a good thing. Now think about this, okay? Everything that you've gone through will help you become better. Maybe a divorce, maybe a heartbreak. Make a great painting. I have one where my ex-wife left me, and I have sold the tar out of that. I would say the shit out of that, but the tar out of that. And a lot of people are moved by that, and they have the same story. They turn around and they go, that's my mom leaving me. That's my wife leaving me. That's my lover leaving me. And they want to put that to their life, their story. You start having an impact in your neighborhood, around your people, and you start making people believe that they're capable of doing anything. For Seneca said, if you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're right. This is Robert Wilkins. Thank you very much. That was my talk. Appreciate it.
This concludes our video presentation. Thank you for watching. For additional information on Centro Cultural Aztlan and upcoming events, please visit our website at www.centroaztlan.org or look us up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, if you missed some of our previous video presentations, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can contact us directly by phone at 210-432-1896. Muchas gracias.